Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Wish you all a very happy new year. Um, so learn about Zuora this year. It's a pretty straightforward billing system which has the end-to-end potential from cash to from order to cash. Um, so it's not just billing; it has plenty other modules, including CPQ, uh, revenue management, billing, and it has few other modules on Salesforce. It has integration with Salesforce. So the CPQ is one module on Salesforce, for example. So it has a, uh very tight integration with Salesforce as well. So Salesforce can be used as a CRM, and Zuora can be used for CPQ, billing, revenue, and so on. So this particular uh, this particular page that you are looking at is for Zuora billing. So once you log into Zuora billing, this is how it looks like. So Zuora, as we discussed in the previous videos, it is a SaaS, software as a service. It is cloud-based platform. That means you doesn't need to access any servers, start any processes. You don't need to worry about whether the server is up or not, whether the network is there, whether the data center is down or not. You really don't need to worry about anything related to the hardware because this SaaS is deployed already in the AWS. What you need to do is just access it using the browser. All the work that you're going to do in Zuora is within this platform, within this website. Whether you configure ledger, configure payment gateways, you can configure tax gateways, you can define tax codes, chart of accounts, you can create users, create roles, define product catalog, uh, which is nothing but the pricing, different price plans offered by a business. You can, you know, schedule the bill runs, generate the invoices, email the invoices, and configure notifications, and uh, you can to create the credit and debit memos. You can process the usage. Usage is nothing but the customer's usage, the customers, the service that will be used by the customer, and it will be rated based on the product and the rate plan that we create. So, and run the payments, collect the payments, process the refunds, add payment methods like customer may have credit card payment method, debit card, or ACH, or even cash, check, those kind of payment methods, and configure a payment gateway if needed. Zuora supports hundreds of payment gateways across the globe. And coming to the finance, configure accounting periods and journal runs. You can create custom tables, custom objects if needed. Reports, you can generate reports and export data if needed and when needed. This analytics is new. Um, Analytics dashboard is there, it is being developed, and there are so many applications in the Zora's marketplace. For example, so For example, uh, coupon codes. If the business needs campaigns need to be set up and the coupon codes need to be configured, then there is an application for that. Similarly, there are plenty other applications in the marketplace which can be purchased and then integrated with Zuora, and those can be you know used along with Zuora billing as and when needed. So we discussed earlier, we can configure the events, configure the notifications, so we can use the existing events and configure the notification, or we can create a custom event and attach a notification to it. And you see this custom logic is new, something new that we got. uh, Similarly, we can create the objects, we can modify the existing objects, we can create the new custom objects. Object nothing but we can imagine it as a database table. And this is the powerful feature called workflow. So workflow is like a batch job. Now it has been modified, it has been enhanced as a near real time app as well. So workflow can be used in multiple ways. There are so many use cases for workflow. It can be created as a batch job and can be scheduled, or it can be triggered when certain event happens. Let's say when we create an account, we would like to create a we would like to associate a subscription uh, automatically, for example. Then we can create a workflow for that. So there are plenty of use cases about the workflows which we will discuss in the upcoming videos. Similarly, data query. So the data query is another feature that we have here. We can create a new data query, and you can see all the database tables that are part of Zuora billing here in this on the right hand side. If you can see where I'm scrolling down, you can see these are all the table names. For example, if I want to know what are all the columns, those are part of account table. Then I click on this expand button just beside account, and then you can see account ID, all the different columns. So, so if I want to run a query, we can run it here. Uh, we don't need to access database using any other external tools. We don't need to access the servers. What we do when we implement Zuora billing, when we configure it, is just this page, nothing else. We don't need to open any other URL other than this to implement Zuora billing. So, for example, let's say select account number. It's not case sensitive. I'm just typing something. So select account number from account, and then there is an option to run the query here. So you can select what is the output format. So source is, let's say, live, and then you can display in JSON format, DSV, TSV, and CSV. If you want to generate a zip file, we can do that as well. You can also index join in case if we are trying to uh, trying to access multiple tables by joining them. Then we can use this. If we want to read the deleted records, then we can check this. So run the query, and then you will be able to see the output here itself. So I just displayed account number. I just selected account numbers from account table, and you can see all the tables here. Either you can display 50 of them on the same page, and there will be pagination. So So that is how we do it. Let's say I select read deleted and then run the query. If there are any deleted, then those will get displayed as well. So if there are none which are deleted, that's why there are no results. So if I uncheck this and run the query, then we will see the live source from the live database. So this is what is about the data query. We will discuss in detail about the data queries and all those things. So coming to the administration part, you can see there is a system health deployment manager. System health is another wonderful feature which can be used for monitoring everything. For example, as we discussed in the second video or the first video of Zuora, that everything for Zuora is built on the APIs. So whether it is an internal operation of Zuora or if we call it from the external CRM, it has to be an API. So under system health, we can see, how many APIs are successful, uh, you know, how many APIs are failed. So there are so many metrics for each and everything, whether it is related to the usage or bill run or, it can be related to anything. For example, we are trying to create a product, but we couldn't create it for some reason, and the API got failed, then we will be able to see it here. So these are all the wonderful features of Zuora. So this is the left-hand rail that we just saw. Similarly, on the right-hand side, also we have administration, billing, payments. So this is where we initially configure everything. So initially, when we got the access for Zuora, we try to set up the users, you know, their user. We associate each user with a user role, and if external systems have to access Zuora, then we define auth provider and security policies like password related and all those things. Manage the countries and regions in which Zuora need to be accessed and so on. So that is about the administration, and then comes to the billing. So you can see there are uh, plenty of options available. We can define the custom fields. Um, for example, there are out of the box fields on the bill or account or anything of that sort. But let's say we want to have another custom field, then we can define it. Uh, so we don't need to access or we don't need to use an SQL query to do that. We can directly add a custom field here. And we can enable certain charge types and models. Before that, we need to define a chart of accounts. So that is the first thing that we do, defining the chart of accounts under finance. Once we do that, we go to the payments. Once we go to the payments and define the payment gateway, define the tax gateway, define the taxation. So these are all the steps that we do in a sequence. So as and when we get the access to Zuora platform, what we can do is define all these settings: administration, billing, payments, commerce, finance, reporting, and connect. Zuora Connect is another tool we will discuss later on, but for now, you can see all these features, that we can leverage, which are all, most of them are configurations. The customization that you will perform in Zuora is pretty much low. So you can define a payment gateway. You can add. So if you don't see the payment gateway that you are looking for, then you can request Zuora to add one for your tenant, and they will add it for you. And then simply you can select it, create the gateway, and then edit it, and you can configure it the way that you need. Uh, so that's how the payment gateways work. Similarly, you can configure a tax gateway as well. So um, payment gateways takes care of payments and refunds, and tax gateways will take care of applying taxes to the invoices and credit memos and debit memos and so on. So these are all the settings that need to be that need to be learned when we are learning billing platform of Zuora. So let's say we want to set up a tax engine, then you can see we have Avalara, Zuora Tax. We can also add a new tax engine by requesting, for example, Vertex. We can add Vertex is another tax engine. We can add when we request Zuora, they will add it here for us, and we can configure it. So adding payment gateways and tax gateways is just few clicks in Zuora. That is a pretty good uh, feature of Zuora. And you will define the tax codes. For example, if we have Avalara and then Vertex, then we define the tax codes accordingly. Reason codes. Reason codes is another uh, is these are useful when we apply adjustments like credit memos and debit memos and all those things. Similarly, you see the billing periods. So billing period, there are plenty of billing periods available in Zuora: month, quarter, semi-annual, annual, and then similarly we can select others if we need. For example, weekly. Let's say we want weekly billing to be enabled, then we can check here specific weeks. Let's say 2 weeks or 3 weeks or every 6 weeks. There can be such kind of requirements as well, or specific days, let's say every 10 days or every 15 days or every 12 days, then that can be defined, that can be configured here. And customize the billing day when we want to bill. So these are all the billing periods. The next one is the billing day when we would like to bill the customer. So this is one important configuration that we need to understand. So one customer can have multiple subscriptions. Each subscription can have its own invoice, or all the subscriptions can have one invoice. So when that invoice need to be, let's assume each subscription under an account has its own invoice. Then when that invoice need to be generated, so these settings will be helpful in that scenario. Default from the customer account or specific day of the month, subscription start date, charge start day, and all those things. And billing period start days, first of the month. So whether we want end of the month is another good option. So because some months will have 31st, some months will have 30, some months will have 28. So we, irrespective which day it will be, we want to just bill on the end of the month. This is another good feature, end of the month, EOM. So these are all the settings related to the billing periods. There are two kinds of versions in major in Zuora, we can say. One is orders platform and another is amendments. So amendments was the older system. Amendments was we can say the initial version of Zuora. I mean orders platform is the latest. So if anybody is using the latest platform of Zuora, then it is orders based. So what that means is once we create the customer account, we will create an order to create a subscription. We need to depend on an order. So whether we want to create an order, cancel an order, update an order, we need to let me come from the beginning. Whether when we want to create a subscription, modify a subscription or delete a subscription, everything that we want to do for a subscription, we need to create an order. So each order will have multiple order actions. We will discuss in a later video. So there will be an order action, and it will create a different version for a subscription. So the beautiful thing in order is we can go back and forth of an order. Let's say we created an order that will create a particular version for the subscription. Let's say I want to come back to previous version, or I want to come back 3 versions from the current version. Then that is possible by canceling few orders. So so that is the beauty of the orders. It will create the versions for the subscription, and it will also help to understand what are all the activity that happened on a subscription. Um, the possibilities are like an upgrade or downgrade or cancellation. There are so many order actions that we will discuss when we are specifically looking at orders to create subscriptions. So that's about the orders platform. So everybody that use order will be uh, having orders platform. So product catalog, similarly, product catalog and billing. These are the bill runs that it will show. Uh, Invoices. You can see all the invoices generated for all the customers, and uh, so yeah, these are all the things. There is nothing. I mean, like there is nothing that you cannot see using uh, this access of Zuora. That means whatever that happens under the billing, you can visualize it. So there won't be a need that somebody need to go to the database and try to get the information from the database. So there is no need to do that. Everything which is part of Zuora billing is available here. So let's say somebody wants to create custom reports. That's also possible directly from here. We can use the existing reports. We can use the out-of-the-box reports. Otherwise, we can create a new report, or even we can write a data query to pull the report. So it's possible to create the reports in multiple ways. So when we create a new report, we can create the report from a query as well. As you can see here, we can create the report from a saved query. That's also possible. Uh, we can create new folders under these reports. When we add a new folder, it will be added under my reports, and we can schedule a report, and we can also email the output of the report to a particular email ID. That's also possible. So we can run the report, we can export it from here. So scheduling is another nice feature with which we can access we can get the data from Zuora to our email inboxes, and we can schedule it. So pretty powerful features. And when we try to look at the out of the box reports here, under standard reports, we have booking, billing, cash, revenue, finance, audit logs, and we can customize these reports as well. We can do a edit, and once we do the edit, we can save as our custom report by using a different name and save it under my reports folder. and schedule it. So anything and everything is possible. So you can see booking, under booking we have outcomes. So you have MRR forecasting, total MRR reports, and under drivers there are plenty of other reports as well, like cancelled subscriptions and so many other things. Similarly, under actions, uh, active out of term subscriptions, so that means not renewed subscriptions and renewal within next 30 days, uh, subscriptions to be cancelled in the next 30 days. So plenty of reports available. It is important to know what are all the out of the box reports available in first place, so that we will not build a report from scratch. So when you understand a particular requirement, then when you know these reports, you can modify any of the existing report. Let's say you can add one or two other fields for the report rather than building it from the scratch. So that's the smart thing to do. So that's why it is important to go through each and every report and then understand which particular report can be modified to achieve a particular requirement. Um, so let's say I will let's say booking report. Okay. So I'm going to edit this. When we try to edit, on the left hand side you can see plenty and plenty of the tables which are already joined for this report are visible, and then you can drag these are all the fields. So these are all the fields, and then you can drag one of the field to right hand side, so that that particular field will be considered. And you can see there is something called summary and detail. So we can have a summary of the report as well as the detail of the report. So both are possible. Uh, both are possible. We can generate the same report, both summary as well as detail. So in summary, what happens, you will have row groups, column groups, and then value fields along with filters. So column groups will have the columns, row groups will have what kind of rows we would like to see. Um, so here in this particular report, there are no column groups, it's all row groups. And then we have the value. So value, you can see some sum of the value. It is not individual value, but sum of the value. So it's possible to get either sum, average, count, minimum, maximum, all these things. So uh, pretty standard and uh, very useful reports are already developed and available. Um, that's all for today. We will look into each and every setting one by one in the upcoming videos. Thank you.